Hi, and welcome to a special edition of the Rice Report, where I report to you on our recent decisions with our FY13 budget. I want to let you know that this was a very difficult year for us, as property taxes lagged behind projections, and we faced some very significant responsibilities that were shifted to us from the state regarding teacher pensions. We knew that going into this budget, it was going to be a difficult one. But fortunately, because of the tough work that the County Council did last year under the leadership of Councilmember Valerie Irvin, we actually were able to recoup and build on some of those decisions that we made. And it put us in a much better position to deal with some of the issues that we currently faced. I'm happy to say that as the Council's lead for libraries, we did a great job in supporting our libraries. We heard from a number of stakeholders, from Friends of the Libraries to the library boards, that talked about the importance of our libraries in our community fabric. And I can tell you that with a restoration of 9.5% above last year's budget, all of the stakeholders were extremely happy with what we were able to do, because that enabled us to open our libraries for additional hours. And I heard from many of my constituents, many of you, that said that you were frustrated with the fact that you couldn't get assistance or couldn't get to libraries when you needed to during your downtime. In addition, I made a motion that was supported by my entire fellow council members that actually added $200,000 in additional materials for our library's budget. And so all in all, while we know that we aren't where we were, we still have a great and fantastic, strong and vibrant library system that hopefully will continue to grow, as we know that it is an extremely important piece of the Montgomery County's mission. I want to talk to you about supporting our safety net services. I serve on the Health and Human Services Committee, and so it was extremely important for us to remember that in fiscally austere times like this, it's very difficult for those who often can't do for themselves. And so we made sure that we funded an additional 7,500 visits for primary care for those who can't afford their own health care. This is significant because we see these costs as these people who don't have primary care then end up using the hospitals as their primary care facility. And so we'll certainly reap the benefits of this in the future, but this was the right thing for us to do, knowing that many people are struggling. In addition, we were able to fund additional money for working families' income, and that's a huge piece in helping those who are trying and struggling to make it through these difficult times and just need a little bit of help. And in addition, while we weren't able to get rid of the energy tax, we were able to restore the local energy assistance rebate and put an additional $500,000 into that fund to help those people that are of very modest means to be able to adjust and not have to pay the full energy tax for an additional year. Now, public safety is something that I heard from a number of my constituents, including my Montgomery Village residents, as well as my Germantown and Damascus residents, about upticks in crime. And I'm happy to report that we have a large number of additional classes of recruits, so we will have troops on the ground in this coming year. And that will mean that we will have more people policing your neighborhoods to make sure that you and your neighborhoods are safe. We also increased funding to fire and rescue, in ensuring that we can respond to all of the various calls that they get, from brush fires to house fires like we saw in Clarksburg. The fine men and women deserve nothing but the best when it comes to equipment, as well as making sure that we are providing them with all of the other supports necessary to achieve their mission. I'm happy to say that one of the things that is extremely important to me is education. And we strongly supported education this year in supporting the maintenance of effort budget that was sent over by the Board of Education. And while there are many people that question what maintenance of effort means for the future, I can tell you that currently, in looking at what this means for our classroom, what this means for our teachers, there's a tremendous benefit. And I'm very happy to see that we were able to support them in that mission. To that end, education doesn't stop at just K through 12. And also our Montgomery College, our institution that I think is the best community college in the nation, was fully supported in its budget and also received a large portion of its capital improvements program budget as well, so that we can expand Montgomery College as we see many of our residents that are retooling themselves and going back and looking at different careers. It's a tremendous support, again, for our overall mission for Montgomery County. A lot of you were concerned about seniors and at-risk youth, and I'm happy to say that we increased the number of transportations via the Smooth Ride program so that many of our seniors can get to doctor's appointments as well as other things that they need to for those that are frail and can't transport themselves. And we also have meals, an increased number of meals that are being delivered to those who are too frail to even leave their homes. I think this was definitely the right thing for us to do. And for those at-risk youth, we had many a debate about the curfew, but I told you and promised that I would support every other aspect surrounding our at-risk youth as well. And so I'm happy to say that we funded the Conservation Corps and are reinstating this fantastic program with $500,000 that targets at-risk youth that have the potential of possibly joining gangs. This fantastic program does the greatest amount of work in terms of making sure that people are trained in a skill to be able to be successful in life. And we know that when children have options, it makes it a lot easier for them to be successful. And in addition, through the leadership of the county executive and Councilmember Nancy Navarro, the Summer Youth Employment Program is going to be a tremendous success, I'm sure, now that we are funding this new program that deals with employment for some of our youth. Very similar to what the District of Columbia does. I look forward to a day when we will be able to guarantee that every youth that's looking for a summer job will be able to have one. I think this is the first step in that line. So this budget year was tough, as I said before, but I think, again, capitalizing on the challenges and also the tough decisions that we made before, we found ourselves in a very good place, a place that allowed us to get back some of the things that we had to take away. Our county employees, the backbone of everything that we do and how we're successful in this county, finally had a $2,000 increase in their pay after years of giving up, not only paying more for their benefits, but also giving up furlough days. And I think that it's important that we gave a signal in saying that we appreciated all the tough work that they've done, doing more with less. And I think that this, again, puts us on a path of where we need to be. I wish we could have done more for our county employees, but unfortunately, I think that we had to maintain some sort of fiscal responsibility that ensured that we would be able to continue to find ourselves in a good position next year. I think that when we think about our coveted AAA bond rating, it's extremely important for us to make responsible decisions. And I think you've seen that from this council. I want to thank Council President Berliner and Council Vice President Nancy Navarro and all of my colleagues for assisting me in providing you with what I think is a fantastic budget. We've put ourselves on the right path, and I hope to continue to work with you, each and every one of you who called, emailed, sent letters. We heard and read every single one of them and took them all into consideration when it came to shaping this. This is a product of all of us, and I hope that we can continue to work on the successes as well as build on the strengths of what Montgomery County is and why it's so special. I thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Rice Report, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the summer as we continue on that pathway of ensuring that Montgomery County is one of the best places to live. Thank you.